I guarantee you, no matter what you were looking forward to on this show tonight, you walked away with something different. Let's talk about it. What's going on, everybody? It's your buddy, it's your pal Spaz, Phoenix, the YWC Reality Check, here with your June 1st NXT review. June 1st. How the hell far are we into the ongoing global bastard now? And more importantly, how big is the zip code of my hair? This is getting ridiculous. Anyways, June 1st NXT review. We're going to do the house cleaning as always. I want to start off right off the bat by apologizing. If I do sound a bit shit, it's because I feel a bit shit today. 50-50 whether I was going to do this review or not. So, yeah, if I sound like crap, I'm going to apologize for that in advance. But I have a lot of thank yous to hand out to the awesome people, the awesome co-hosts that I have the opportunity to work with. I want to send a quick shout out to Guapo, who last week got together with me. We did the Double or Nothing preview, but here's the thing, right? I don't talk about a whole lot of AEW on this channel. As you guys know, it's mostly an NXT WWE related channel. That's why I picked Guapo. He's my AEW guy. If we're going to do AEW stuff, we're going to do AEW stuff with Guapo, because we haven't had Guapo on the channel in a long time because he's a busy guy. Normally I wouldn't say go back and watch a preview of a pay-per-view that is now past. I will say Double or Nothing was good for what it was. But I will say, because we were playing catch-up and all that sort of thing, we did tackle a lot of other AEW topics and issues and all that. So it is worth a listen if you want to go back and have a look at it. I want to send a quick shout-out to my co-host, Kristen, from FlixFix, who not only got back together with me to finally do the Godzilla vs. Kong review, but also dragged her boyfriend Travis along for the ride. That was a lot of fun. He knows way more about Godzilla and Kong and the Toho universe than I do. So it was great to have him along for the ride. We might do that again, because it was a lot of fun, and I managed not to speak over them, which I have a horrible, horrible habit of doing. As a quick programming note, in about a week and a half, the Marvel Loki series is going to start, so Kristen and I are going to be reviewing the Loki series, and like the other ones, like Falcon and Winter Soldier and like WandaVision, it may not be every week. It may be we review 2 or 3 episodes at a time, and we just spit them out when we can, because quite frankly, we get a chance to get together and collaborate on the weekend because of how schedules are and whatever, and weekends now, with the way the world is and the way that we're slowly being able to do stuff, not so much up here in Ontario, but other places in the world, weekends are when people are going to want to do stuff again. So I will try to be on Twitter, be on social, etc., and tell you guys when stuff's coming along, but something recurring like the Loki series, like the other series that we've been reviewing on Disney+, it may not be here's an episode, here's a review. I'm going to tell you that right now. If you guys haven't figured that out already, which you probably have, especially the way we had to wrap up Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I also, before Double or Nothing, I dropped the episode of NXT Rewind. It was episode 2. It was NXT TakeOver, the original, the very first TakeOver, back in 2014. It's a really good show. Check it out. The two big matches that you're going to want to watch on that, if you want to watch the show again before you watch my review of it, is obviously the main event, which is Adrian Neville versus Tyson Kidd, and the number 1 contenders match between Sami Zayn and Tyler Breeze. And I think, as I mentioned in that review, it's really, really weird to remember super duper, like, NXT's John Cena babyface Sami Zayn with the Sami Zayn we have now. So it's a lot of fun. I'm glad you guys seem to be liking it. I'm not getting a whole lot of feedback on it, but the little bit of feedback I am getting on it has been positive. I do appreciate that. Shout out to people like Jake and Joe and a couple of other people who have done me the favor of sharing that around. It is a fun series. I have the first 4 episodes already recorded and in the can. Before NXT TakeOver in Your House, we're going to be doing episode 3, which is Fatal 4-Way, which is those same 4 guys I just mentioned in a Fatal 4-Way match for the NXT Championship. That's already in the can, and it will go with the same pattern that the first 2 did. If the TakeOver starts at 8, the pre-show starts at 7. I'm going to drop the YouTube premiere at 6, and if you're not in the same time zone as me, I'm sorry, but kind of figure it out. It's going to go up an hour before the preview. It is what it is, and that leaves me with Jake DeMarco. Jake DeMarco, who's as always, got a lot on his plate. Hoping to get back with him this week. Hoping to do part 2 of the people that we should... Basically, if you saw the first portion of it, it's basically people that we want to see NXT hire to beef up their cruiserweight division, and they might have done that tonight, spoiler alert. But if I can get together with Jake sometime this week, we may get that out on Friday. If not, it may be another week or so, and we'll see how it goes. So, as I say, I've rambled on long enough. It's gone about 6 minutes already. But I do want to say, once again, to Guapo, to Kristen, in this case to Travis as well, but as always to my NXT guy, Jake DeMarco, go show him some love as well. I cannot say enough how lucky I am to work with the people that I work with and give you something other than just me sitting here spouting off. We did manage to compare Godzilla vs. Kong to Marvel, to Jurassic Park, and to Casper. If you want to know how we did that, you got to go back and check out the podcast. If you're not watching it on YouTube, go check out the podcast. I'd love those numbers to get up as well. Anyways, time to get into this week's show, is it not? I've rambled for quite long enough. You guys know the socials. Spaz Phoenix. Put that anywhere, and you will find me and probably some other videos, people talking shit about me, but it is what it is, and that is the way of the internet. We started off the show this week with highlights of last week, highlights of obviously Balor and Cross, and a little bit of hype for this week's featured matches. Obviously the triple threat, obviously the tag team championship match, and what we didn't know until about an hour before the show started was Kushida again doing another cruiserweight championship open challenge. The choice was made, and I think it was announced yesterday, that the number one contenders triple threat match would be the match that opens the show. Now, I will say, criticism from non-WWE fans to Raw, SmackDown, etc., is that they always start with a either an opening promo or a promo chain or just a whole lot of exposition and whatever. I do like that NXT seems to be getting away from that. I mean, I wouldn't mind if we turn around tomorrow and there's an episode of Miz TV on NXT. I'd kind of laugh, and I'd either love it or hate it, depending on what they did with it. But we did start with the triple threat match, and my thought with that was, okay, either it's because they're putting the tag team championship in the main event, or because there's going to be some massive fuckery that we don't know about. Somebody said earlier on today, from one of the dirt sheets, keep your eye on NXT tonight. This is going to be the night that Daniel Bryan debuts. Spoiler alert, Daniel Bryan did not debut in NXT tonight. But if you want to go back on the channel or back through previous episodes of this podcast, you can listen to me and Jake run down 10 plus people or so that we would like to see Daniel Bryan fight outside of WWE. So there's another cheap plug. There's another awesome video I got to do with our good buddy Jake. Go check that out as well. Dunn versus Gargano versus O'Reilly for the number one contendership at TakeOver in Your House is the opening match. Kyle takes quick shots at both men to start, and all three trade some shots. There's a knockdown by Dunn. Kick to the arm and the hands early, hammerlock by Dunn, a backdrop by Kyle. My writing is absolutely terrible, because that's what happens when I feel like crap. Kyle gets chopped in submissions by Dunn and Gargano. There's a grounded headlock by Dunn, a head scissor by Gargano, a surfboard stretched by Dunn, and chops by Kyle. It's Dunn, Gargano, and Kyle, because I don't like writing out the name O'Reilly for some reason. It doesn't work in my head, and when I'm writing things fast, it is what it is. Armbar finger snap on both men by Dunn. He manages to grab both of their arms and snap both of their fingers. It's nice. I love watching... I know I say it all the time. I love watching Dunn do the joint manipulation dissection thing. It never gets old. Ankle lock by Kyle. Dunn reverses as a forearm by Gargano. A dragon screw in the ropes by Kyle. A tornado DDT, I can speak, I swear, by Gargano as we go into the commercial break, and NXT, say it with me, rolls on. Kitchen sink by Kyle as we come back. There's a crazy series of strikes by pretty much everybody. Armbreaker by Kyle. Forearms by Dunn. A sliding dropkick by Kyle, a suicide dive by Gargano, a slingshot spear, and some chops. A series of kicks by both men by Dunn, followed by a powerbomb, an X-Plex by Dunn, and a Kimura body scissor combination to follow. Forearm by Gargano, heel kick by Kyle, knee drops by Dunn, DDT, and a lawn dart by Gargano. Gargano and Dunn trade some chops, and Kyle joins in with some kicks, because... why not? I would almost say, in the midst of a chop battle, we had some Daniel Bryan silly kicks, but it wasn't quite that. The Gargano locks in, the Gargano escape. Dunn snaps the fingers again. There's a bitter end. There's a knee drop by Kyle. They all sort of, 2 out of 3 of them, and I couldn't tell you off the top of my head which 2 it was because my brain doesn't work that way, fall to the outside. Where, Adam Cole returns and owns the fuck out of everybody with steel chairs. Now, I don't know why this ended the match. I will say, I'm going to give some credence to the nitpickers, because there's a lot of stuff here that happened on tonight's show that could be nitpicked to death. And let me say, preemptively, right now, I do not care. The way TakeOver is stacking up, I do not care. The biases are running wild tonight. But if you want to say, why did that stop the match? Because it's a triple threat match, because there's no disqualification, it can only end in pinfall and submission, I'll give you that. But also, I don't care. William Regal, starting off his really bad night, comes out with security to get rid of Cole. Cole attacks one of the security guards, gets a couple more shots in on a couple of the guys, and leaves. And that's fine, and the match is over. And as he's being taken to... We come back from the commercial break, and he's still being slowly moved up the ramp, which is a little awkward when you consider how short the ramp is in the CWC. So they basically paused for the commercial break before they took him out. As he's leaving, Ember Moon stomps out to the ring. And she calls out Gonzalez for injuring Shotzi Blackheart last week with the powerbomb basically against the plexi, and then against the post, and then against the plexi, and then over the guardrail, and everything that she did to Shotzi Blackheart, which, you know, broke my heart, because my bias is Gonzalez comes out, Regal leaves Adam Cole, tries to stop Raquel Gonzalez from going to the ring. That doesn't work. I think she knocks him down. I think the camera cut away, but I think we're meant to believe that she basically plowed through him to get to the ring. There's a security pull-apart led by William Regal, and as they're taking Gonzalez away, and Regal's focusing on taking Gonzalez away, and Ember Moon's in the ring, she's jumped by Dakota Kai and then hit with a haluva kick. 4 reasons. William Regal is not having a good night already. In the back, we cut to the back after that, after 2 melees in a row, and we've got Escobar hyping up Legado del Fantasma for their title shot tonight, talking about family and how, you know, real men get championships and how we're always there for each other. These guys helped me when I had my championship. I'll be proud to stand by them as they basically go and get their championships later on tonight in the main event, actually, which is cool for people that think that NXT doesn't have a tag division, which is a lie. They're slowly crawling back up there, and it's good. Let me say something. We get LA Knight versus Jake Atlas. And with Jake Atlas being in the ring, this is where the commentary and the direction of NXT/WWE chose to pay credence to the fact that it's the first day of Pride Month and all that. So first of all, first and foremost, I'm not going to toss a whole bunch of SJW shit into here, but to all my LGBT friends and family and whatever out there, happy Pride Month. I don't know. They didn't do what WWE usually does, which is good. And the WWE's been slowly sliding away from this. They've gone from the big bombastic, here, have a video package, have another video package, have another video package, to just choosing people within their staff, within their WWE family, if you want to be corny about it, to represent whatever time it is. For Women's History Month, obviously they put the focus on some women out there that can do their own thing. For Black History Month, same thing. For, Asian and indigenous. I'm sorry, I'm really not trying to be offensive. I have problems with that word sometimes. Last month they had a whole bunch of people, especially through reaching out through their own social media, etc., talking about their experiences as it pertains to their identities and whatnot. And I'm sure the same thing will happen over the course of Pride. Jake Atlas will be vocal. Obviously, Sonya Deville will be very vocal. Some of the other, one of the other people that was mentioned was Frankie Monet. I think they said Mercedes Martinez and all that sort of thing. It's just when they get their turn to sort of take over the NXT Instagram or the WWE Twitter or whatever. And I think that's a lot more obviously I'm not speaking for any of these communities, please don't get me wrong, but I think it's much more genuine to have somebody from the community that you're trying to pay attention to sort of take over the social media for the day or get their own voice out there than to just, I mean, I make the joke on here all the time, WWE is great at video packages, but I think having the representatives within your own company do that kind of thing is better than beating people over the head with 100 video packages. And it's not very often that I get to give WWE a little bit of honest credit, and I think they've earned it with the way that they've handled this type of thing. But it was nice to have them, because they devoted a good portion of the commentary during this match to that. Obviously, Jake Atlas being one of the people that's going to be part of that social movement and you know, the discussions that go around those types of things, which is all really, really good. I don't want to speak too much about it because it's genuinely, it's not my place to talk about things like this. But the only thing I will say where I think they might have fallen down a little bit here is they didn't, like, they were using him as the conversation piece in the match. They didn't even give him an entrance, which is really, really shit. They had LA Knight, cutting his LA Knight promo off the heels of all the other kerfuffle, and yes, I said kerfuffle, that's going on in the back. You just see him wandering through the back, grabbing a microphone and starting his promo before he's even out at the ring. He basically promos himself to the ring and makes fun of Jake Atlas, because that's a great start to things. And then we cut to commercial break. After commercial break, we come back, we see WWE.com exclusive of what was on social media most of the day, which is a big parking lot confrontation between Hit Row and the combination of Killian Dane, Drake Maverick, Everrise. It does, like, if you look at the players in this little conversation, this isn't going to be an 8-person tag because B-Fab is female, and WWE doesn't do that unless it's bloody friggin' Reginald. But you had Everrise in the background being goofy. You had Drake Maverick sort of being too big for his britches. Killian Dane stepping up for his like little brother character, and I don't know what this is going to turn into. I don't know what they're going to do with Killian Dane, because it really did look like they were going to have him have sort of a little sort of lower card mini feud with Alexander Wolf, but it kind of sucks that Alexander Wolf isn't with the company anymore. We could do without the rest of Imperium as well. Send them back to NXT UK. Don't fire them. Send them back to NXT UK, where the more serious grinding style is more appropriate. Where I will tune into that when they have fans again and all that sort of thing. But it was a big schmoz, that made me laugh, so what do you really want me to say? Anyway, coming back from that, Atlas is already in the ring, and we get into the actual match, and the actual match was pretty good. LA Knight, we know, is going into a program with Cameron Grimes and the $1 Million Man, so it's really hard for me to get hyped onto him. And Jake Atlas, despite everything I just said, despite his participation in all this visibility, representation, and all that thing that is going to be going on throughout this month, which is awesome, end of sentence, as a wrestler, I still don't care about him, and that's... I'm sorry, it is what it is. Early roll-up attempt by Atlas. There's an arm drag and a drop kick and a seated armbar by Atlas, and elbows to the neck, knee drop to the shoulder by Atlas, an awkward pinning reversal sequence to follow, body shots by Knight, and a neck breaker, and some right hands. And the $1 Million Man shows up on the rampway, presumably checking out his new protege, LA Knight, or so we would think. Power slam by Knight, a fist drop, a choke on the ropes, a running knee by Knight, and shoulder tackle to follow as we go into the commercial break, and NXT sort of awkwardly, I guess, rolls on. Overhead neckbreaker by Knight as we come back from the commercial break. Crossbody by Atlas. Knight tosses Atlas out of the ring at the $1 Million Man's feet. It's like he's making him into an offering, which is weird. I don't know that's I don't know that aesthetically that's a great thing to be putting on TV. Right hands by Knight, a body shot by Atlas, a jawbreaker, a pump kick by Atlas. Grimes shows up on the rampway talking to $1 Million Man, trying to get his attention. There's I will say, now that we finally got rid of the Velveteen Dream, it took you long enough, we got somebody else using the Dream Valley Driver now, which is absolutely cool, and that's obviously Jake Atlas. Dream Valley Driver, standing moonsault by Atlas into the cartwheel DDT, and Atlas gets the win. Not only is LA Knight freaking out about the loss, but he looks up the rampway, and $1 Million Man is leaving with Cameron Grimes. So now they are competing for the affections of the $1 Million Man, which is nice. Everybody from the first match that Adam Cole attacked is in medical together, because that seems like an amazing idea. So the sidekicks are there too. Oney Lorcan's there. Austin Theory is there. They start arguing over who would have won the match if Adam Cole hadn't gotten involved. They start brawling. They get broken up, and we move on once again. We get the announcement that Poppy is going to be on NXT next week, and my light goes out. That's fantastic. There we go. Adam Cole stomps through the production area back to the ring once again, gets himself a microphone, talks about how 2 years ago I was champion, I'm the real #1 contender, I was gone for 2 months and nobody that came after me lived up to my legacy. I took out 3 top stars in one night. I want my title back. I'm the #1 contender. Cross is no monster. He's an overrated musclehead. He's not Adam Cole Bebe, and that's why I was able to hold on to that title 403 days. Cross and Scarlett come out with a very, very abridged version of their dramatic entrance. He calls him Little Man, which is a little mainstream WWE. I really didn't need that. He says your motives are understandable, but your methods are questionable. No matter what you do, you are as soon as I showed up in NXT, you are no longer special. Adam Cole goes on a bit of a, here's some hard truths type speech. He says, you know what makes you special? They tried to make you special. They gave you the lights. They gave you the entrance. They let you have the cool valet, even though I'm pretty sure that's his wife. And all of that is what makes you special. For me, what makes me special is when they ring the bell. You can't lace my boots. You're not on my level, and you're just the guy that's handling my property. William Regal comes out for the 3rd or 4th time tonight, having a really bad night, trying to cut off Adam Cole, saying, I know what you're trying to do. You're trying to hop the line. You're trying to get something you don't deserve. You're trying to weasel. You're trying to get him all riled up so that he'll give you a title match at TakeOver, and you're not having it. Karrion Kross cuts him off. Regal, you need to shut up. You need to give me what I want, and you need to give me everybody. And what they clarify shortly, because William Regal just sort of looks at him, looks at Cole, looks back at the champion again. He says, all right, done. And what they clarify later on is at TakeOver in your house, and some people will hate this, and those people I will laugh at incessantly from now until the pay-per-view. Please know that in advance. We are getting Karrion Kross versus Adam Cole versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Johnny Gargano versus Pete Dunne in a fatal 5-way match for the NXT Championship, which is absolutely ridiculous. And then we throw to the back, where Candice LeRae is being interviewed, and the interviewer is trying to ask her about Poppy coming next week and about the championship shot that her husband just received for the pay-per-view. She gets offended that they're asking her about Poppy and the other championship, not her current tag team championship. She talks some shit about Poppy, like why do we keep letting Poppy in here? Does Poppy think she's going to be the next Bad Bunny? And I got the twinge here. I got the twinge here of, okay, please don't do this. You just put those titles on the way. Please don't ignore those titles and give us like a Candice LeRae versus Poppy match at TakeOver. Because, you know what? It would probably be half decent, but I don't want to see it. And then she's trying to get the attention of Indy Hartwell because they have a match later on. And she's listening to 80s power ballads because she's still obsessed with Dexter Lumis, because Dexter Lumis... NXT still thinks Dexter Lumis is going to be a thing. Dexter Lumis is never going to be a thing. But yeah, weird segment. The way they had I know it's not the interviewer's fault, don't get me wrong, but the way they had the interviewer questioning her totally undercut the fact that she is one of the current NXT Women's Tag Team Champions, talking about her husband's title, basically makes it sound like you're just your husband's wife, not a competitor in your own right, which wasn't great. And having her comment on Poppy was clearly meant to set up something for next week. And then we throw to commentary for a minute, and they announced that in fact Kushida had put out another Cruiserweight Open Challenge, and what's his name? Bad News Barrett on commentary says, oh, you might have heard of this. We have an answer for this. You might have heard of this guy. He went by another name before, but now he's known as Carmelo Hayes. Then we get a video pack on Carmelo Hayes, which is just basically I'm new, I'm coming to fuck shit up, you've never seen anything like me. WWE is really great at video packages. Speaking of video packages, we go to the back, where Tian Sha, except not the dragon, 100,000-year-old dragon lady, just Boa and Xia Li are in the back, and they're watching the Mae Young Classic. They're watching the match that Xia Li lost to Mercedes Martinez. Talked some shit, talked about how she just went to the Mae Young Classic to embarrass her. She's not going to embarrass her the next time we fight, which is going to be at TakeOver. Lays down the challenge. I got super excited. I said last week, either they're trying to recruit her to Tian Sha, or she's going to be the next opponent for Xia Li. So if she's going to go in there, be a badass, make Xia Li look like a badass on a TakeOver stage, and yes, I know it's still just in the CWC, and that's really sad, so it's not going to feel like a TakeOver till we get crowds back. It's fine. It was really nice to see the crowd at WrestleMania. It was really nice to see the crowd this past weekend at Double or Nothing. TakeOver is not going to be TakeOver until it has a crowd, but it's still the TakeOver stage, and it's still probably the second women's match we're going to get on that card. So it's good. We're doing some stuff. It really does make me nervous that we're not going to get a women's tag team match on the card, which is kind of a bummer. But Xia Li versus Mercedes Martinez, yes please. And then, in fact, we do get Kushida versus Carmelo Hayes with, for the Cruiserweight Championship and the Cruiserweight Open Challenge. And Carmelo Hayes is pretty fucking fun, because this was not a squash in the slightest. During the course of this match, we also got the announcement that it's going to be Knight versus Grimes at TakeOver. Now, again, I parse myself out from this story a bit because it's not my thing. Am I excited about this match? Not really. Do I acknowledge that it's been a long-standing story by WWE standards, and by that logic it should have a place on the card? Yes. Do I have a problem with it being on the card? No. Will I care when this match is happening? Probably not. So, slice it down the middle. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if they keep competing for the $1 Million Man's attention and he brings the $1 Million Championship to TakeOver, and the match is for the newly rebranded NXT $1 Million Championship, which is not terrible, but it's not great. Anyways, Carmelo Hayes in his debut on NXT, collar and elbow tie and a takedown by Hayes and a test of strength, rollover pin attempt by Hayes and a grounded headlock. Super kick to the midsection by Hayes, body shots by Kushida, boot by Kushida, dropping sort of a inverted dropping Pele by Hayes. Looked like a down, like, it's gonna sound dumb, but it looked like a downward punch with his foot. Is the best I can say. Head and arm lock by Kushida and a springboard elbow drop to follow. Inverted leg drop by Hayes as we go to the commercial break. Coming back from the commercial break, cravat and knee strikes by Hayes, a handspring handspring heel kick by Kushida. Super kick by Hayes once again. GTS over the knee. Looked really, really good. Springboard sling blade, which is not something I've seen before, by Hayes, followed by some chops. A series of kicks by Kushida and a palm strike. Head scissor bulldog combination by Hayes. A hip toss drop kick right hand by Kushida. Penalty kick and a hoverboard lock, and Kushida gets the win. After enough posing and enough, sort of celebrating, he does come back to the center of the ring, offer the new guy a handshake. The new guy takes it. They show some mutual respect between the two, and you know what? I know we should probably build up something a little bit for TakeOver, but if you want to run this match back one more time at the TakeOver, give the new kid some exposure on TakeOver right away, just to strap a rocket to his back, that wouldn't hurt my feelings in the slightest. Frankie Monet is in the back, and she's in a dressing room that's made to look like a big diva sort of actor, actress, singer dressing room with the mirror with the lights all around it and all. And she's on her phone reading the reviews like actors would read a review of their movie, and she's just enjoying the reviews of her debut last week, which is nice. The Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, coming off of Before and talking about Poppy and listening to power ballads because Indy Hartwell can't get over Dexter Lumis. They have to refocus because they are in the ring in a non-title match taking on Zayda Ramirez and Zoe Stark. It was pretty short. The way get the win with the Wicked Stepsister. I like Zoe Stark. I'm really, really quickly fast-tracking my way to liking Zayda Ramirez, if you guys haven't been paying attention in the past few weeks. This wasn't offensive. This was a not tag team losing to the tag team champions, and it's sort of the way it should be. Didn't make them look bad. Wasn't like a 2-second squash. They got their shit in, so to speak, but that was about it. We go to the back once again. Mercedes Martinez, obviously accepting the match from Xia Li, says, "You know what? I know you're not the woman you were back in the Mae Young Classic, but neither am I." Pretty cut and paste, but it guesses where we need to go, and the pay-per-view is in a week and a half, so it's fine. We get another preview for the Diamond Mine, whatever that is, and where it would normally say at the end of a video package, coming soon, it says opening soon. So I'm out of ideas as to what the Diamond Mine is. When the first promo ran and everybody thought it was Tessa Blanchard, I got kind of excited about that. I think I mentioned this on a previous NXT review. I look at the stacked women's division of NXT, and people ask me all the time, oh my god, you're ranting and raving about the women's division of NXT. Do you still want Tessa Blanchard in there? Like, do you even need Tessa Blanchard? Yes, because more is more. Please put a hat on a hat. It's fine. I really don't know what the Diamond Mine is, and I'm sort of out of guesses if that's the case. Ember Moon is in the back, and she's cutting a really pissed off promo, and what I could gather from it is that she's facing Dakota Kai next week and Raquel at TakeOver, which is a pretty fast-track title match, if that's the case. But I will take it. I don't know if Shotzi Blackheart is legitimately injured or whether they wrote her an injury because she's off for other reasons. Either one's a bummer for me. I don't think they're breaking up that team. I do think if she is facing Gonzalez at the pay-per-view, she's not going to win. I think she's going to give her a hell of a match, and Dakota Kai is going to get involved or whatever, or they're going to go with the breakup of that team, and we're going to get Kai versus Gonzalez down the line. Either one of those is absolutely fine. Legado del Fantasma versus MSK for the NXT Tag Team Championships in our main event. I will say, I know I say this every now and then. I probably stray into hyperbole when I say this. Please go and watch this match, because my notes and what I remember and what I'm going to talk about of this match will not do it justice. That's it. That's all. That's it. That's all. And they managed to not mimic or mock or impersonate any other tag teams from any other companies. Magical how that happens. Lee and Wild start the match as a collar about tie front slam by Lee, a headlock takeover by Lee, a takedown by Wild, and a kick off the edge by Lee. Shoulder tackles by Wild, double team by Legado, which happens a lot in this match. Chops by Mendoza, a boot and a double back elbow by Legado. Basement crossbody by Wild and a head and arm lock. Jawbreaker by Carter to get out of that, and a series of strikes by Lee. A cartwheel kick by Carter. Ciampa, Thatcher, and the Grizzled Young Veterans all make their way around the ring, sort of brawling, and make their way out again in about 10 seconds. I don't know. MSK tossed Legado out of the ring, hit them with tandem suicide dives as we go into the commercial break, and NXT rolls on. Oh yes, I know it was advertised that this match and the opening match were going to be offered with either limited commercial break or a lot of picture-in-picture. Please, my fans down in the States that are watching this on USA Network, did they do that? Did they limit the commercial breaks? Did they do the picture-in-picture thing? Because Sportsnet just doesn't do that. And we're just not that lucky because they still kind of hate us up here in Canada. Corner chops by Mendoza, Insiguri off the top rope. Mendoza stomps on the midsection. There's a double spine buster, double drop kick by Legado to I can speak, I swear, Lee. Neck vice by Wild, back elbow, splash, springboard splash to follow. Tornado DDT by Lee, rolling shoulder tackles by Carter, a series of kicks by Carter, and a standing moonsault. Exploder suplex by Lee, missile dropkick by Mendoza, long series of corner clotheslines by Legado. And by long series of clotheslines, I mean he's in the corner, one of them does the running clothesline, dips out of the ring while the other one does the running clothesline, dips out of the ring while the other one does the running clothesline, and it's the piss you off heel faction version of New Day doing the Unicorn Stampede or whatever the hell that was. Top rope Raw, a powerbomb combination by Legado, and Lee rolls to the outside where Escobar gets up from commentary and tosses him into the steps. Back in the ring, there's a high-low by Legado, but they are distracted because Escobar is out there still causing mischief, and he gets slammed. He gets splashed into the wall by a Bronson Reed out of nowhere, which absolutely makes me smile because definitely we're moving forward with that storyline. MSK hit their double team powerbomb slice bread thing for the win. They celebrate. It's all good. They're a feel-good team. This was a good match, even though there was a little bit of shenanigans at the end. Not a bad show overall. Like I say, there's stuff in there that I'm not crazy about. There really is. The Dexter Lumis stuff needs to stop. Everything to do with the $1 Million Man. I've made it perfectly clear now that stuff's not completely up my street. Like I say, happy for the Jake Atlas involvement tonight, even though as a wrestler, I don't really give a shit about him either. But, looking forward, it's sort of a weird look forward that we're going to take here, because next week we've got Kai versus Moon, for sure, and Poppy is going to be there for some reason. And I'm really, really nervous that we're going to get a match between Poppy and Candice LeRae, which is weird. Looking ahead to TakeOver, we did a lot of building tonight. It might not have been the most exciting episode of NXT, but it was a very functional, very pay-per-view building episode. We're getting Knight versus Grimes, which is kind of meh. I'm pretty sure for the U.S. champ, or for the North American Championship, we're going to get Reed versus Escobar, and I'm totally down for that. Gonzalez and Moon was heavily implied. They never really confirmed it. They never really threw a graphic up. So I'm assuming at this point it's going to be a transitional challenger for Gonzalez, but when was the last time Moon had a singles match at a TakeOver? I love the team of Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon, don't get me wrong, and don't get it twisted. But Ember Moon, for who she was by the time she left NXT the first time, she should have had some singles matches by this point. Same thing goes for Shotzi Blackheart in that regard, so it's equal footing there. We know we're getting Lee versus Martinez, where they're going to beat the ever-loving shit out of each other. It's going to be good. And then we're getting the 5-way title match, and what do you want me to say about Cross versus Kyle O'Reilly versus Pete Dunne versus Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole? Baby. A lot of fun. Like I say, there's a lot of stuff here that a lot of people are going to nitpick, and I cannot be any more clear. I don't care. There's a lot of fun. There's way too much fun on this show. There's way too much ridiculousness on this show right now that I'm enjoying to get bogged down in the nitpicks, even though I will admit that they are there. And if you want to tell me about the nitpicks, throw them down in the comment section below. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, if you've made it this far, go in the comment section below. Don't put it in the chat. Put it in the comment section down below or wherever you can comment if you're listening to this as a podcast. Give me one word. One word that either describes what you think of NXT in general right now, or one word that you think encapsulates this particular episode. Really, really curious. And we'll see where that goes. If it gets a conversation going in the comment section, that's always awesome. Anyways, I'm going to stop talking before I pass out. I've been Spaz, your YWC Reality Check. Subscribe up there, talk down there, start a conversation. Keep all these conversations going. Don't be a stranger. I will talk to each and every last one of you later, but for right now, I'm tagging out. Bye, guys.